Hey, what's up guys? We're going to go over rifle control today, and we're just going to talk about the main two guns that you use, the AK and the M4. So starting off, I'll just show you guys the patterns for the guns on the wall, and each gun only has one pattern, and a lot of people don't even know that, but I'll show you guys the patterns here. The M4 goes up, you start it off, and I'm always going to start right here in the same position, just right at the bottom of the debris, and the M4 is going to go up a little bit to the left, swing to the right a lot, and then come back to the middle. Here we go. So left, right, middle. Every single time. Left, right, middle. The AK is going to come up, swing left a little bit, right a lot, left, right. Left, right, left, right. Again. Left, right. So now you know that they both have just one pattern. You can maybe work on your spraying if you're having some trouble on getting down and which way you pull. But it's pretty much both guns you pull down to the left more because they swing a lot more to the right. But yep. So another thing to know when you're shooting the rifle is you never want to crouch. Pretty much you never want to be just a sitting target and just have them have an easy shot on you, because when you're especially when you're spraying, if you crouch, you get no benefit on your recoil at all. It has no effect on your recoil. So if we were standing here, you saw that the top spray is the AK spray there. So if I was to crouch, you think it'd be a little bit tighter or lower and it wouldn't spring up as high, but it doesn't at all. It has no effect on your recoil. So here we go with that. And as you see, it hit in the exact same bullet holes as when I was standing. Just like that. So you pretty much never want to crouch with any gun unless you're doing it like maybe real fast, or I really don't like crouching at all, really. And like I said, you don't want to be a sitting target in this game. You can move around very effectively and be accurate. And I call this way of shooting that I'm going to explain here, I call it the wiggle, the CSGO wiggle, because you move so fast in this game, left to right. It's very sharp movement, so you can always keep your hitboxes, make them very hard for your enemy to hit, other than just like when you spray at 30 bullets at the wall. You don't want to just stand still and just spray all your bullets or crouch and do it, because there's no real point. You're just a sitting target. So you might as well be moving around and, do the wiggle like this. Because there's a little bit of grace period where where you're still going to be accurate while you're moving. And I'll show you guys what I mean by that. So we'll do a full-on run spray here, and I'll aim at that. There's the accuracy if you just full-on have full acceleration and you're spraying. So, and here's the wiggle where you're still moving a lot and just kind of juking their shots like this. Just you're always kind of moving, so you're never really standing still. And I'll show you the accuracy for that. And it's pretty tight for how much I'm moving. So you can use that kind of technique if you're close up on an area. So instead of just holding down 30 bullets here and just spraying while you're standing still, you might want to just do the wiggle, and you can come around and get a lot of very accurate bullets and be moving a lot and be very hard to hit. And there's that grace period where you don't want to fully accelerate and get moving. You want to keep your wiggles nice and tight, and you just try to keep moving around where you still have that grace period where you can be very accurate. So you can use that for shooting. And let's just talk about how to start off your spray, or how to start off shooting. You never really want to start off just with a full-on spray. So let's say we have the AK here. You're not gonna just say like one or two people were in there fighting you. You're not gonna just peek out and just full-on just spray them down. You always want to start off with taps, and then maybe lead into a burst, and then if you need to, you lead into a spray. You should never start off the opposite way. You should never start off spraying and then lead into taps. So if we're peeking in the tunnels here, we should all, tap, 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 tap. And then if you want to, you can do tap, tap, burst. And then you can do tap, tap, and then into a full spray if you want. Or if you're doing a burst, one of the bursts, you can lead into just a full-on spray. So let's say we take down someone with our first burst. You're starting your second burst. And on the start of the second burst, you can just do into a full-on spray. So I'll do it this time. Just, burst, and then just lead it into a full spray. One of the things you don't want to do, or some people think they're accurate, is if you try to start shooting again when your recoil hasn't reset. So let's say that example, like I said, you're starting a spray and then you want to go in the taps. So let's do a spray here. And if you're trying to tap too early, you see my recoil wasn't set enough, so none of my shots were accurate at all. And I'll try just aiming somewhere else so you see if I'm accurate. So just spray over here. See, my first two shots were very inaccurate just because my recoil hasn't set yet. And that's even true if you're doing bursts and you do a burst too fast, like too tight of a burst, two bursts together. You know, burst after burst. And your second burst might be really bad just because you're trying to burst too close together. Even with tapping, if you're doing too fast of taps, your bullets aren't going to be accurate and your recoil is just going to be kind of shooting up like. See, it was almost like I was getting aim punched there because you can see my screen just bouncing around as some of my shots went up here and some of my shots went over here when I was actually shooting here. So you need to time your shots and just get a feel for the guns and just know when you can shoot again after a burst or after a single tap shot. So you might want to just go in and just shoot at the walls with the SV show impacts is what I have on to see my bullets. You can just do that and just kind of get a feeling when you're accurate and when you're not. When you're getting those like aim punches when you're shooting, that's when you're not accurate. And that's pretty much it so far, guys. I mean, the AK, you want to be more, let's just say about the M4, you can do some really big bursts with the M4. You can get even 10 bullet bursts with the M4 and be pretty accurate. With the AK, you want to work more on tapping, 3-shot bursts. And with the M4, you can literally lead out with 5-shot bursts every single burst you want to do, you know. Burst, burst, burst. And you can do a lot of full-on spraying with the M4, and if you get really good with the spray, you can manage to do a full-on spray with the AK at decent range. From right here, you can get a decent AK spray in. From back here, obviously, you would never want to spray, just some tap, tap, tap. Really, no point for a spray, but you can get some, bursts. You can get some decent bursts back there, just 3-4-shot bursts from either gun at that far range, but a lot of the situations are, you know, situational, and you just have to get a feeling on how far away your enemy is and what kind of technique you can use. And you should know beforehand, just like any other thing, like where your flashes are going to be. It's just the same thing. When you run in, you should know how you're going to react with your gun, how you're going to use your gun. So you should know if, yeah, I'm just going to do a full-on spray here, or I'm just going to go bursts, or I'm just going to go taps. So you should have a kind of a technique, you know, like when you're shooting people across the catwalk here, you don't want to do a full-on spray and just go. You don't want to come out here and, you know, do the wiggle. You don't really want to do that. You want to come out here, and it's either, if you have an AK, you can just do tap, 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 or with the M4, you could do bursts. And with the peeking video I showed you, let's say we have 3 enemies on cat here. This guy, and this guy. Like I said, if we're just doing bursts and you're peeking, you just want to make sure you're just peeking one guy at a time. You know, burst this guy, burst that guy, and then burst that guy. And if you need to, you can just do taps or sprays. It's just all on, people have different shooting patterns and different techniques they like to use, but it's really, you have to get a feel on the gun, and that's really the end of the story there on this kind of video. And I tried explaining it the best I could. I hope you guys liked it. Follow us on our social media below on the Read More on YouTube, guys. Thanks.